stream. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay, so today we are going to do some testing of some minor at Delcar 10, and then we're going to drop into some signal sources and see what's what in the new signal sources after the new update. But first things first, I've just been out mining some void opals and I need to sell them. So I'm just going to nip into Inara and find out where I'm going to sell them. So Okay. So, system Ross 345. That's not too far away. And G23925. That's even closer. Okay, we're going to go with that one.
Cargo scoop retracted.
Roger that. Initiating automated retrieval.
Okay, good. Audio sounds good. Green screen looks a little rough at home. Okay, it's the angle of the green screen. That looks better. Okay.
Fighter is on board, Commander.
Right, so first things first, we are going to go and sell these void opals.
Frameshift drive charging.
After we've done that, we will head to Delcar 10 and find out if it's as good for mining as people seem to say.
4, 3, 2.
Okay, this is an unexplored system. So general rule of thumb these days is if you end up in an unexplored system, scan it if you can. Could be well worth your while. But there's a problem. There's another ship. Okay, Type 6 heading away from me. Not likely to be a problem. So we will just quickly scan a few worlds. There we go. Not interested in those. Just for planets themselves, as those are the bodies which will okay. Not looking like there's a lot here. That would help. So where are we? Okay. There we go. Locations none. Yeah, I'm not really interested in those. Those are signal sources. Okay, are all the other planets clustered around here then? There's more there. Well, that's just signal sources, so yeah, that's cleared that. Aha! Here we go. Here's where the planets are hiding. Okay. Seems to be that one. There we go. That's another one. Locations none. Oh, there's more than one here. Yep. Two. Locations none. So if you look, when I zoom in, under the info, right hand side, locations, if that has a scanning wheel on it, let it finish scanning. Because it means that there are sources, geological sources, human sources on the planet. And it's worth your while to yeah, that's just signal source, not interested in them yet. I'll just mark these off. High grade emissions. That'll be good for our second part of this stream today. There we go. Here's the last planet. Excellent. Okay. So come out of there. Right, so now we need to head back on our route. Oh, compromised navigation beacon. Those are fun, but not when you're carrying a load of cargo. You do not want to jump into a compromised navigation beacon if you are carrying a load of cargo, as the pirates in there will be most happy to see you. But I doubt you will be happy to see them.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two,
Okay, throttle down. Connection all seems stable. Voice levels look good. Okay, cool. Right. No one's jumped in immediately. Let's scoop some fuel as we're getting a bit low.
fuel scooping.
And while we are scooping, we see unexplored. Cool. Have we? Yeah. So may as well scan it. Energy pulse. Not done the scan. 65% heat, so we should be good. Okay, that's just a signal source.
Fuel scooping complete.
Yeah, problem here is we've got a lot of signals. So it's going to mean finding the planet a little awkward. Aha! That one. That one. Ah, asteroid belt. Okay. Yeah, okay, this is taking too long just to scan one planet. Oh, looks like my game is frozen for a moment. Right. There we go. Okay, there's our target system, where apparently there is a good price for void opals. Okay. Let's jump.
Charging.
Low security, so I might get jumped. Roll down. Here we are. just check on Inara. Yep, Presnick Mine is the one we want. Just scan the system in case there is more than one planet in here. That's all been explored. It's got a first map, not first discovered, so there's nothing for me to scan with the FSS, although I could use planetary probes to scan that. So all I'm doing now, as I travel over there, scan the other ships in the system, pick up maybe some data, but also see what they are. Try and determine if any of them might be a pirate ahead of them having a chance to get me. Might be about the loot there, unfortunately. All those signals and not a single piece of data. Oh well. Okay. Start worrying about lining up for the station. Let me just... updated that right. 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 Wait a second. Just update this. Right, just update that. Let's get docked and sell these void opals, and then we can get on to Delcar 10. Interesting. Okay. There we go. Oh, looks like I've got night vision on still from when I was mining. Turn that off.
Lacey, Tango Hotel Echo. You're clear for approach, Commander. Submit a request and enjoy your stay.
Request docking.
Access granted. Make your way to landing pad number 39er.
Get ourselves stowed up and ready to move on.
Scan detected.
Just scanning these ships on the way in again, just in case any of them can give any data. They've over-egged that a bit, so we best correct.
You're on track, Commander. Approach looks good.
Add 39 then. There we go. So,
Landing gear deployed.
right,
Landing operation complete. Dispatch.
restock.
Good to have you, Commander.
And let's see if this place is a good place to sell void opals. Yep, it's looking like 1.6 million plus. 85 tons from an hour's work in a void opal hotspot. That's nice. 1.7 billion. Very nice. Right, so next step is to go to Delcar 10. Because from what I've been reading on the forums, Delcar 10 is a good place to mine. And it's even possible that the rings there outside of any hotspots might actually be a good place to mine and be pretty plentiful with the core asteroids. And if that's the case, that would be useful to know. So I'm going to go and have a look. We have 4 jumps. Am I using jet cones? No. So I want to cancel the route and replot it. Doesn't look like it's the only jet cones on the way. Right. Launch.
Detach confirmed. Observe queuing system.
Okay.
Retracted.
Nothing in front of me, so I can boost out. There's a lovely, lovely starscape there. And jump. Seeing a lot of investment states, so
All clear. Hope to see
just wondering about that. How long will that last?
4, 3, 2,
Right, is this a system that we have that we could scan? Right, I'm not going to scan everything. So we'll just do this scan and we'll get on with our task today.
fuel scooping.
And the ships, here we get the data. And on our way.
Frameshift drive charging.
Akita, or how Cheetah next. Not sure how to pronounce that one.
3, 2,
Okay, discovery scan. Anything interesting? Okay, so looks like this was a pre-map system, as there are no first discovered bys. So, not 100% sure, but probably not worth my time bothering to map, as I won't actually get any great amount of cash from that.
fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
2 jumps yet? So when we get to Delcar, it is Delcar 10 that people have been saying was a good place.
3, 2,
Okay.
fuel scooping.
43 bodies, so let's see what the system map shows us. Giants. Quite a pretty system, but I'm not sure that there's any really high value worlds in there. So I suspect taking the time to scan it is not the best use of my time. So we will go on to Delcar.
Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Final jump.
Four, three, two,
And here we are in Delcar. So we'll just top up the fuel.
fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
See, have I properly mapped all of this? It was already pre-mapped. Delcar 9. Delcar 10. Lots of unidentified signal sources. Right, it's always good just to stop off at a local station. So we'll go and do that before we go and do anything else. Metallic there. Icy there. Icy there. And icy there. So we'll dock at the station first so that we have a point saved. Vulture, but heading away from me, not likely to be a pirate. Okay. So scan a few ships on the way. We'll take a proper look at signal sources later on. So right now we want to be focused on the mining bit. Besides which, I'm going to need to get some limpets, aren't I? Yeah, I've only got 46 tons of limpets left, so that's no good. I'd risk running out. Right behind me. Yeah, nothing that's obviously a threat. So we're looking good. Invigari, I think. I'm flying past the station. Never good. Nicely saved. Okay. Looks like I'm speeding. Terrible behavior. Okay.
Scan detected.
Oops. Yeah. I know.
Landing gear deployed.
Right.
Touchdown. Engines disengaged.
See what services we've got. I'll refuel. Oh, an outstanding bounty. We have interstellar factor, but I've got nothing for them. Huh. Picked up a few bits and pieces. May as well sell that.
Message.
Okay. What's the message then? Nice. That makes me wonder if there's any Federal Navy missions, because I was seeing some of them. Nothing special. Okay, so from what people have been saying, Delcar 10 was a good place to mine. So we will head out to Delcar 10 and we will see what we can see. Limpets, knew I was forgetting something. Let's go with 100 tons. Actually, 120. Go.
Ship detach complete. Access corridor is clear.
Okay.
Scan detected.
So we just head away from the station, jump to Super Cruise, and then we'll worry about turning round.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Okay, let us go out to Delcar 10. So this will just take us a little bit. So what I'm particularly interested in within Delcar 10 is not so much how well you do at a void opal hotspot, because I know in an hour I'll pull out somewhere between 60 and 100 tons. What I'm interested in is outside of the void opal hotspots, how many rocks with cores can you find, and do they include void opals? Okay. So at the moment we just fly in a straight line. Very interesting. Hazardous resource extraction sites. Don't mention any hotspots, so I would probably have to map the rings to get those. So if Delcar 10 does turn out to be any good, I will map some rings. Okay. So, coming up on our target planet. And we want to map the rings, for which we use our surface scanner. Starting to come into view. We don't want to crash into the planet, so we'll just approach it with a bit of caution. Looks like there is a single resource extraction site. Oh, looks like there's actually two resource extractions. Fair enough. Right. So, surface scanner. And there's just a single ring here rather than multiple rings. We'll know in a moment. There we go, yeah, just a single ring.
Surface scan complete.
And plenty of hotspots. Come out of there. See what hotspots we've got. Void opals, low temperature diamonds, several void opal hotspots. So in terms of the hotspots, Delcar 10's pretty good. Bromellite, Alexandrite. A resource extraction site inside another one. That's void opal, which means that potentially one of these other two big ones might be... Right, that's a low temperature diamond. That's interesting. Void opal hotspot with a resource extraction site in it. Unfortunately, although resource extraction sites give you a bonus to fragments mined from a rock using a laser, they do not give you a bonus. Hello, Illuma. And how are you today? What I'm doing here is I'm just testing something, which is, I know that you can go into a void opal hotspot. Yeah, I like the bobbleheads as well, although there's probably too many there. Cool. So what we're doing is I'm going to try a bit of core mining, but I'm doing it outside of a hotspot. I want to compare how we do outside of the hotspot compared to inside. So let's get our fighter out because there's other ships. So if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, well I've not got anything. But I'm interested in if I can pick up a bounty for these guys. Oh, that's a nice bounty. I think I might pick up that. No, this is a private group. Board hopping. I don't believe that respawns asteroids. Just going to deal with these pirates. Yeah, I don't believe that any kind of board hopping. I mean, board hopping shouldn't work anymore with the latest changes to the mission system anyway, and I don't believe that that has anything to do. There we go. Just put some more pips in my shields. And so we know that cores will vanish after a certain point. We're not sure yet how many days it takes for a core to asteroid with a core to reappear. Best guess I've seen is about 6 or 7 days. Right, dealt with that. Looks like there's some nice materials, so we will collect those.
Deployed. Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone. Programming
As I develop the stream, yes, I will be playing with people, but right now, probably not right now. But yeah, definitely it's something I want to do. As we sort of develop the stream, develop the community, I've no problem playing with people once I get to know them. I am wary of stream snipers though, no disrespect to your good self. So I'm not doing that just yet. Because although I can do PvE combat, I'm not a PvP combat person. Yeah, the bounty was appreciated. Pirates are very generous with their contributions. One of the reasons why I use the Conda, because basically I don't have to be worried about pirates. In terms of Discord, still getting that set up. As soon as it is available, which should be within a couple of weeks, hopefully sooner, it will be up. I'll update the panels on the stream. And I will provide a link to the Discord, but I'm still just getting that set up. This is literally my second stream. First one was on Monday. But once that's set up, if you wish to join, it would be lovely to have you. Basic idea is I want to help people understand how to play the game. And so the more the merrier. Right. Let's see if we can find some cores. Oh, no. So yeah, at the moment, if you want to stay in touch with how things develop, if you drop a follow here. Also, if you follow me on Twitter, I will update as I bring things like Discord and such like online and with plans for the stream. Right, so you might notice I am, thank you very much for that follow, much appreciated. I'm holding the pulse scanner down, and the reason I'm doing that is because rocks will show up with cores, will show up in a particular way if you have the pulse scanner held down. They basically start to develop a number of black lines. Thank you very much, Aluma. I will hopefully see you round. Have a good day. Okay, so this is interesting. Out here, any black lines wouldn't show up very well. It's very bright. So that makes it a bit harder to see what rocks are actually bright with the pulse scanner. So I'm looking for a particular shape of rock. It's quite knobbly. Some people say it looks like popcorn. I'd say it does. Let's see if we can find any cores out here. So I'm not seeing any black cracks on that one, and that shape looks wrong. Just change my pips because I'm not in combat anymore. I want to be able to boost around. Okay, so that rock just in front of us, that is more the kind of shape that we are looking for. But it's not glowing on the scanner. So that doesn't look hopeful. And we are out of the hotspot here. We're doing this deliberately to see how being outside of a hotspot compares to being inside of a hotspot. Because if you can find cores easily enough outside of a hotspot, then we can all stop jumping into the hotspots and depleting the cores there. So that is the right kind of shape. Showing some black lines. Bit of tinge of red and green as well. So that looks like that could have a core, but it's not as clear as when I've been in hotspots. That's interesting. Okay, well it does have a core, but it's bromellite, which only sells for a few thousand credits a ton. So, not interested in that. So not really a lot of black lines on that one. Wrong sort of, yeah, it's got coloration, but doesn't really look to me as if it's, yeah, okay. So what's particularly interesting to me here right now is that when I'm in a ring that is perhaps better lit than the other rings that I've been looking at recently, it is harder to see the asteroids that glow brightly, the ones that have got the black cracks on them. This is looking promising though. So I want to pull together some guidance for people on what to look for. And what this is showing me is that I'm going to have to consider lighting conditions in the rock itself, as that will alter just how clear it is to see things. Okay, no core there. Okay, we've been here for about 10 minutes now. We found one core which wasn't worth much. So I'm going to keep this up for another 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on whether or not I start to find cores. I'm certainly seeing ones that look like they're candidates. But otherwise what we'll do is we'll drop into a hotspot and see if there's a difference. Or a clear difference in the hotspot. This is looking interesting. Black lines are getting thicker, more distinct when they show. Okay. I'm not sure on that one, but worth a prospector, and I've got plenty of them. Void opals. 10 minutes to find void opals. That's not bad. That's not bad, actually. That compares favourably in itself to a hotspot. So now we just want to examine the fissures that we got to play with. go, got our seismic charges. So 10 minutes in, we've got one void opal core in a hotspot. I would expect at least 6. Okay, that's pretty close. So let's just drop no more than a medium in here. That was low. Okay. Right, we want to low into this one, so we just want to pull the trigger. We do not want to hold it down. Well, that was a low, but didn't have the effect I wanted. At this rate, I might use up all the fissures. Oh, that is annoying.
Incoming mission critical message.
Right, what we got left? We've got a low. We've got an average. Doesn't look like there's any more to play with. Okay. We're going to get a suboptimal yield if we don't sort this. Perfect. We have 26 seconds to spare. So I'm just going to back up, because if I don't, I risk blowing up my fighter. And I want the fighter around. Should I run into any more pirates? Need to be a good kilometre away when the rock blows to make sure the fighter survives. And boom. That's 12 resource chunks. Start heading in. Right, so now we can switch over to the abrasion blasters. Now I've got 2 abrasion blasters here on both of my small hard points. Okay, so they're starting to smack into the rock, which isn't good. So with 2 abrasion blasters, it's possible to get 2 fragments. In fact, it's possible to get a number of fragments up to the number of abrasion blasters you've got. So something like an Aspex, where you could have, say, 4 abrasion blasters, would be very, very profitable. 2 fragments there. Oh. Still moving when I shot, so the shot went off. There we go. Like I missed that. Just come around here. That's another one. Okay. And we will get this one. Nice. Clearly 2 fragments there. Not sure if this is a bug or what. There's a lot of discussion about that on the forums. I'm undecided because, although it really does look like a bug, and I would accept if FDev took it out, it's been known about since the end of November at least, that this has been discussed on the forums. So it's not as if FDev are on holiday and haven't had a chance to look at it yet, because they had a chance before Christmas. Now I appreciate There are other bugs they've got to deal with. But I'm starting to wonder whether or not this actually is a bug or whether this is actually intended. Because if it's intended, it makes a fairly big difference. Right, so I think all of my collectors have expired. Yeah. So. Just get in a reasonable position.
Programming lifted drone. Programming lifted drone. Programming lifted drone.
Send out the connectors. So we should hopefully get a nice haul from this. Okay. So we're now approaching the 20-minute mark of our hour. I have found one void opal rock in the normal rings. I've also found a bromellite core, but that's useless to me. Doesn't sell for much. So in a hotspot I would expect to get, 5 or 6 cores in an hour. We will see if outside of a hotspot can actually compete. So collectors are doing their thing. 5 tons of void opals. That's maybe about 8 million. Very nice. So nearly lost a collector limper there. Okay. So if we get one every 20 minutes, we'd be getting 3 cores in an hour. That would be about half the efficiency of a hotspot. But we will see. And we are now up to 11 tons of void opals. A few left. Okay, someone's trying to give me a contract. Yeah, not interested. Almost there. Hey. So we have got 3 out, 2 out. Looking like maybe 15 tons. It's not bad. 15 tons might be 22, 24 million. Which isn't bad for 20 minutes of searching in a fairly standard ring. Just to show you where I am. I'm currently here in Delcar 10, which is a pristine, icy ring. But I'm not in the Void Opal hotspot, of which there were a good couple. Right.
Cargo scoop retracted.
So we will start scanning again. Select the pulse wave scanner and just hold it down. And see what glows to begin with, and take it from there. Okay, so one thing is this. I just slow the ship. Pulse goes out in all directions, so I can use mouse look to check the sides as well. You're in a ship that's got a better cockpit visibility than a Conda. That could actually help. That one in front of us looks interesting. Right kind of shape. Now we need to see if it develops any black lines. We've also got this one. That's definitely the right kind of shape. Yeah. Okay. This is the one we'll take a look at. So we're getting red and green in there now as we get closer. That's a hopeful sign. Starting to see some black lines. As I said before, this is a very well lit ring. And it does make a difference to how things appear. There's not really a lot of black in there. Shape isn't ideal. Honestly not sure if this one will have a core or what. Oh, Alexandrite. Okay. Well, Alexandrite can sell for a reasonably nice price. At the moment it's going for between 300 and 550,000 credits a ton. So I'm not going to turn that down. It's not void opals, but it's not bad.
Cargo scoop deployed.
That's a high strength. We want a low or an average strength to begin with. So that we can put a high yield charge in.
Detonation sequence initiated.
That's an average strength. Okay, that one's visible. That's a high strength, so I would prefer the average strength. There we go. High charge. Started to get us into the blue. What's this one? That's a high strength. So we'll try for a medium yield in here. Okay, that was a low yield. So we will try again. That was a medium yield. It puts us squarely in the blue. Time to back away so we don't get caught in the blast. So, almost half an hour in the normal pristine icy ring. We found 3 cores. One was void opal, one was bromellite, one was alexandrite. We haven't bothered with the bromellite, but the void opals and the alexandrite we'll take. And if I detonate now, we don't have to wait so long. "12 resource chunks free." So start to get closer. Do some mining. You can see the brackets for the abrasion blaster were red, indicating it was out of range. I reckon that was 2. That might be possible. Another 2. So increasing my yields a bit by using multiple abrasion blasters. Don't want to go too close into the rocks because this is an anaconda. It's perfectly fine outside the rocks, but in the middle there I'd be testing my shields. Not getting that one. Okay, so out of interest, you don't actually have to have something target for the abrasion blaster to hit it. So it does make it easier to understand where you're hitting at. Another 2. Okay. Yeah, momentum of my ship there. Okay, need to be careful of losing my collectors in the rocks, so I'm going to back up a bit. Down to a stop. All the remaining Alexandrite is free floating, but it looks like my collectors are done as well.
Programming lifted drone. Programming
Okay, so in case they are smacking into the rocks, we're not going to use all 6 because otherwise I'll just lose all 6 again in quick order. So we'll just use a few this time and we will pay attention to whether or not they blow themselves up. So we're now at 30 minutes, finishing off our Alexandrite core. We have so far got 13 tons of Alexandrite. So we had 15 tons of void opals. We are going to get a bigger yield of Alexandrite out of this rock. Which is interesting. So let's be able to get a bit closer without any problem. 4 Alexandrite deposits out there, already up to 14 tons. We're like 16 or 17 tons from this, which is nice.
limit expired.
Okay, we're having a problem getting this last one. So let's move the ship so that they can... There we go. Sure why they had a problem getting that one. Must have been something between me and it, so hopefully moving the ship means that it doesn't impact on anything on the way there. And the pathfindings for the collectors, it is better than it used to be, certainly, but it's still not perfect. Okay. We're up to 15 tons. Will this make 16? No. 15 tons of Alexandrite. So we actually got the same yield of Alexandrite that we did void opals. So, just over half an hour, we have found okay. That one there has a good shape, but he's not glowing at all. That one there does, and was certainly glowing. But will we now start to see black lines and eventually black spots? Or at the very least a greenish and yellow reddish tinge? Not as much as I would like to see at this distance, I'd say. Yeah, that doesn't look to me as if there is enough black, green and red involved. So I would say that that's not going to be a core. However, I have plenty of prospector limpets. So we can afford to put one in there and see. Yeah, not a core. Okay, so there's a rock ahead of us. Shape doesn't look great, but there's some green, there's some red. Could be of interest. Let's go take a closer look. It's not looking good in terms of shape. Lots of green and red, not a lot of black. I would say that that does not have a core. Confident enough of that I'm not even going to put a prospector into it. Okay. So let's see. Oh, what's this? Just come out from behind another rock. Glows more, some greens, some reds, some thicker black lines. That looks like a core to me. Certainly a good shape. Yeah, that looks very much like a core. The issue being, of course, because we're not in a hotspot where it will skew the cores you find towards a certain type, we don't know what kind of core this is going to be. Oh. Seem to have destroyed my own prospector. So I was still manoeuvring when I'd set it off. Let's get closer. Alexandrite. Okay, well, as before, we will take that because that is a richer material. Low strength, average, average, low, average, high. Plenty of low strength fissures. This looks like this should be not a bad one to blow. So, high charge in here.
Detonation sequence initiated.
This is also a low strength. High charge in there, starting to get into the blue. That's a low strength, so we don't want to use that one right now. That would be too much. We want to go with high strength would be good. Average strength though should be lovely. And we want to pull a low yield charge in here. So we just pull the trigger. Okay. That's another average. Right, accessing this one could be a bit of fun. Cool. Okay, we have all in the blue. Backing up to over a kilometre, about 1.2. So as to protect our fighter. Let's get more collectors out.
Programming limpet drone. Detonation in 10 seconds. Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone.
11 chunks. I love those explosions. They are very impressive. So, start to use our abrasion blaster. Or more correctly, the abrasion blasters. Oh. So we're now up to almost 40 minutes. Well, that would help. Okay. Make our way around here. We're losing collector limpets in the rocks. Not great. But
Collector limpet expired.
just missed that one. There we go. Let's focus on getting the rest of the fragments off the rocks before I worry about putting any more collectors out. One fragment that time. That was 2 fragments.
Collector limpet expired.
Could have been me smashing into my own collector, which would not be great, but hey. Yeah. We've got collectors available. There we go. So that might be all rocks now free floating. We've only got a couple of collectors left. So let's get a couple more collectors out there.
Programming limpet drone. Collector limpet expired.
having problems accessing the deposits. I want to change my position so that whatever they're running into between me and them is moved out of the way. And we see where we go from there. So, just past 40 minutes. This is, yeah, not looking as profitable.
Collector limpet expired.
Okay, they're still having trouble. Does look spectacular in these, really does.
Programming limpet drone.
Let's see if I park myself in here, if maybe that alters the lines to the fragments enough. That seems to be doing a bit better. 7 more out there. We're now up to 28 tons. We had 15 before. So 15, 16 tons from this one. Current prices of Alexandrite, that's another 8 million. It's not bad.
Collector limpet expired.
Okay, so it wasn't able to get some of those ahead of us. Right. Let's, oh, do that. I'm going to end up in another rock. Okay. Game really is spectacular at times. Quite the backdrop, those asteroids just rotating there. And here in the middle of the icy fragments, my temperature is lower, so I'm almost hiding myself. Alright, let's see if these can actually get these.
Expired.
There's just there. That should be an easy capture. And we've got one more fragment out there, which is right in front of me. So my last collector, unless it expires from its lifetime, should be able to get that easily enough. Right. Okay. The last of them. Close up the cargo scoop. Let's see how much we've got. 30 tons. So they are averaging about 15 tons per rock. Make our way out. Reorientate on the low temperature hotspot. The reason we do that is so that we're not going back over our own ground. A few more limpet drones. And start pulse waves again. That was a good shape, but wasn't glowing. New possibilities. Might be interesting. Tricky, I don't think so. I don't think so. That one. Right. So right now I'm just going to go to a be right back screen. It's going to nip to the toilet. So if you'll just bear with me, I'll be back soon. Okay, back in the game, so we will add a few. So we've got 12 minutes left. Yeah, so this rock, second and subsequent pulses, not really showing any black lines or black spots, unlikely to have a core. So we found 2 alexandrite, 1 void opal. Unfortunately, 1 core was bromellite, so we found 4 cores, of which 3 were worth mining. That's quite bright. The shape is not good though. That's a different story. That looks great. That looks really good. So, first pulse. Okay. So let's just take a look at this.
Prospector limit engaged.
Alexandrite. Okay, well, you know, we wanted to see
Scan complete.
what the situation was like. Oh, this is going to be a fun one to blow because there isn't exactly a whole host.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Well, there's no lows. That's going to make things a bit trickier. So we will have to do what we can. That's an average as well. That's a high. Let's go for the average. There it is. Okay. That's a high. So we're going to want to put a reasonable one in here, but not maybe a high. That was a low, but it's got us part of the way into the blue, so I would say we want to be losing lows from this point. So let's just check. Okay, we do have a couple of others, so if we have to disarm this one, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so that's not quite in the blue. That's not good. But I think the rest of these are highs. Okay, so a low into a high strength should be alright. Perfect. Although a little bit closer than I would like. Just going to back up.
Detonation in 10 seconds.
Just about a kilometre away to avoid blowing up my own fighter.
Collector limpet expired.
That's 9 chunks of Alexandrite. Right, do we have any collector limpets out?
Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone.
So we've got 6 minutes left on this test. After this we... just a little off. There's a chunk. Okay. Just turned away from me, so let's go for something a little bit more accessible. That looks good. Nice, 2 fragments there because I've got 2 abrasion blasters. Same there. That all helps. Let's round the other side because it's greyed out. There we go. Oh, curved it. Just line up here.
Collector limpet expired.
Okay. So it's definitely easier to get these straight if you're not moving at least laterally or up down at the time you shoot. Otherwise you'll tend to curve the shot.
Collector limpet expired.
I'm losing a few of the collectors as they collide with the rocks. So our hour for this particular test is almost up. Right, so we have all of those rocks. So we'll probably end up with about 45 tons of Alexandrite. So this test, which is outside of any hotspot, just in the icy pristine rings, this is my 5th core. 3 Alexandrite, 1 Void Opal, 1 Bromellite. Didn't bother with the Bromellite one. So the number of cores is comparable to what you get in a hotspot outside, but
Collector limpet expired.
you can't skew the material. So, you know, going into a Void Opal, you know you're gonna see more Void Opals, so the hotspots are certainly worthwhile. Okay. So, what we got? Right, so we've only got a few minutes left for this hour of testing. Let's head off and see if we can find one more core. Okay, so it's definitely harder to see the coloration I'm looking for in a ring that is as well lit as this is. That's certainly the shapes I'm looking for. Yeah, there's not the black lines I want. The shape is wrong. Not seeing any black lines. Oh, but that one there that's just popping into view behind the other one, that's certainly glowing nicely. So that's a possibility. Shape's not ideal though. Yeah, this is unlikely to be one, but
Programming lifted drone. Prospector limpet engaged.
yeah.
Asteroid scan complete.
Hello, Commander Face Guy. Lovely to see you. Just finishing up a little bit of mining testing. I spent about an hour doing mining tests, trying to ascertain the profitability of different places. And I think we found our last call. Yeah, it's good to be streaming, although I'm still definitely getting used to it. There's a lot to take in. So, this looks very likely to be a core. There are lots of black lines, green and yellow. And it's void opals. Hallelujah. Right.
Asteroid scan complete.
So, we'll blow this one. That will conclude our hour of testing and we will see what we can sell it for. Lots of lovely low strength fissures. So, this should not be too hard to blow. So,
Detonation sequence initiated.
medium yield. I was going for a high in there. Right, let's try a high in this one. Need to keep the trigger pressed down. Robigo. Fair enough. When you say for mats, is that from mission rewards? Because the rewards there are pretty good. Might be too much. Oh! No. Okay. Disarm that one. get lined up on the next. Aha. Yeah, modified embedded. The material traders can be a good place to look because obviously you can trade stuff, but yeah, if you can get missions that give you specifically the one you're looking for, that is the best way of doing it. Yeah, and that makes them particularly expensive to trade for. Absolutely. High strength fisher. We'll still just put a low in there. Excellent. I do enjoy the mining actually. I've always quite enjoyed mining. And with the changes to it, yeah, it's really a lot of fun now. And it competes favourably with other ways of making money. So, yeah, it's all good. What about yourself? Have you tried the mining? Oh, 50 modified embedded. Ouch. Yeah, we can definitely see why you're doing the missions. I love that. I really do. I've learnt the hard way, you got to be a kilometre away. You've made $1 billion already. Very nice, and yeah, I can understand wanting to do something a bit different. Certainly. Okay. Get close enough. Start, yeah, sound design in this game has always been really good. It's truly something special. Oh. Move around a bit more. Yay. That was 2. There we go. Right. So, as I just collect these last ones, the reason I'm here today is I was hearing about how good Delcar 10 was for mining and that you didn't necessarily have to bother with the hotspots. So what I've done is I've come to Delcar 10, I've dropped into the wing outside of a hotspot. Over the course of an hour I found 6 cores. Only 2 of them were void opals, 3 of them were alexandrite and 1 was a bromellite. So I've mined 5 of those because the bromellite is not worth the effort unless you're looking for that specific material. Probably not as good as I'll get in a void opal hotspot, which is something I will probably do another time for comparison. But yeah, actually, Delcar 10, just drop into the ring, not unreasonable. So it'll be interesting to see how good the void opal hotspots are here, because if they are significantly better than what I've seen elsewhere, then they're certainly still worth the effort. 1 more. Where's that then? There it is. And I'm face on.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
Ooh! Let's jettison some limpets. Yeah, I think that's part of what FDev want to do, is to make mining a lot more dynamic.
Collector limpet expired.
At the moment, we've got 1.6 million for void opals, but that could drop. You'll need to keep an eye on the market, basically. Makes it all a lot more interesting. Okay. So And as much as I enjoy mining, though, I've got to say I wouldn't want to do it all the time. Blowing up rocks is fun, but there's only so many times you can do it in one day. Ah, Braven, yes. Frontier Expo, that one. There's actually two versions, I think. One was available on the store at one point, and for some fool reason I didn't buy it at the time. And it's never come back on the store again. But the Frontier Expo, which was not last year but the year before, this was one of the freebies. So yeah, hopefully they will do Frontier Expo this year. They did make a point of saying they will only do it when there's a reason to do it, which is why they didn't do it last year. But I went when they did do it, and it was well worth it. And there was some talk about maybe once every 2 years. So, you know, it's too early yet to say, but I'd be hopeful that, you know, maybe towards the end of the year we will get a Frontier Expo. But I'm also aiming for TwitchCon Europe and LaveCon, if you've heard of that, because LaveCon is, I've been to the last 2 years now, and that's definitely worth the effort. In fact, this is a LaveCon 2018 t-shirt, so it seemed appropriate. But yeah, and there's a few others I'd like to try and see what they're like. They are a very nice bunch of people, the Lave Radio crew. Obviously, it's also the Hutton Truckers, and they're a very nice bunch of people as well. I've got a lot of time for them, and they put on a very nice little con. So if you do get the opportunity to go to LaveCon, be aware that they usually sell the tickets in 2 rounds. The first round will be out sometime soon, first half of January maybe. So it's worth keeping an eye on their Twitter. Those tickets will go very quickly. Last year I was able to get a ticket for that, and those tickets in that first round went in 2 hours. So keep an eye on their Facebook page, their Twitter. They are very good about publicising when they're going to put the tickets on sale. There will be more rounds of tickets though, at least another round. But if you want to get into the hotel itself, which is the best place to stay, you want to be aiming for that first round of tickets if you can. But there's plenty of other places to stay around there. And a lot of people who will go to LaveCon will probably not be staying in the hotel because there's just not enough rooms. So it's definitely worth the effort. First year I stayed away from the hotel. Second year I stayed at the hotel, and glad I made that effort. So I will be waiting for those tickets to come out.
Cargo scoop retracted.
Right. So we have got 43 tons of Alexandrite and 27 tons of void opals. So I just need to make a note of this. Yeah, LaveCon's been running for quite a while now, and it always does very well. With good reason. So if you'll just bear with me a moment, I just need to make a note of these. So 43 and 27. We had 27 tons of void opals. And 43 tons of that. So what I'm doing here, I'm actually pulling together a little spreadsheet which I'm going to share with the community, just so that people can see what I'm finding in terms of profitability. But each test is an hour in length. And we have come to the end of this particular piece of testing. So the next question is, where am I going to sell my my gains. Void opals, Alexandrite. So I'm just looking on Inara. G23925 for that. G2329 for Alexandrite as well. So we will go to G2329. 239-25, sorry, I'm getting that wrong. There we go. Okay. Right, let's get away from this ring so we can jump. Okay. Just charge the jump. Nice to have you back. Oh, and cancel that and collect my fighter before I blow it up.
Roger that. Initiating automated
Thank you for the host, Commander Face Guy. Very good of you. So, just wait for this to dock. Right, so I can't jump through that ring. If I fly towards the ring normally, what will happen is I'll go back mass locked again.
Commander.
So the trick is, stay still, charge your jump drive, and then only at the last bit. And the chances are you won't hit the mass lock limit before you start jumping. That way you can jump through rings and such like, or close to starports, without getting yourself mass locked again. Yeah, it's one of those things that you'll normally end up discovering by accident because you forgot to throttle up. And then you realise what just happened. Okay, so we've got a communication from a pirate. Oh well. Combat mode. Looks like I will be collecting a bounty. Let's get the fighter back out there.
Prepping fighter ready. Stand by. Fighter deployed. I'm here if you need.
Okay. Four pips to shields. His shields will go down before mine do. So we don't really need night vision anymore. Fighters are really useful. Because this Anaconda has pretty good shields,
Got a runner, Commander.
and I tend to do PV pips to weapons. This is going to be annoying if he gets away. Let's drop some cargo. And I got him.
No more targets.
Just. Yeah, fighters can be really, really useful. One of the things I find is I tend to shield tank. We don't want that because it will be illegal and that's hardly worth anything. So what my fighter does, particularly if I end up with several NPCs on me, is it distracts some of them. It does make a real contribution to the fight. It can blow things up. Yeah, I'm not sure what the effect on combat rep is actually. I don't know if you get combat rank for things that your fighter destroys. Obviously your fighter gets experience, But yeah. Okay, so if it's shared, it will slow it down a bit for you, which is fair point. Plus, it depends on your ship. Not every ship has a fighter, to say the least. Right, so what mats are we going to get? Most of those I've got.
Deploy cargo hatch. Cargo scanner
Could help.
deployed.
I said you would die. High wake. So that means that his high wake started just at the moment I blew him up. I got him just before he got away. Nice.
Cargo scoop retracted.
Right. So
Cannot comply.
oh,
Frameshift drive charging.
keep forgetting to do that.
Roger that. Initiating automated retrieval.
So let's pick our fighter up. Change our pips. So usually in terms of combat on this, if I'm doing a proper combat loadout, I will have multi-cannons or lasers and back them up with railguns or plasmas. This ship only has a large plasma and 3 beam, but the beams are all efficient thermals. So they're engineered G grade 5,
4, 3, 2.
which helps with the heat. Multis and beams is, and actually I think I need to swap out my plasma accelerator. I do love the plasma accelerator, but the problem on this one is because of the number of beams I whip through my power, and I never have enough power to shoot the plasma, is what I'm noticing. So it would be better to have a multi or maybe 2 multis and only 2 beams, so that I had sufficient power for other weapons. But the beams are a lot of fun.
Fuel scooping complete.
Right, there's another ship out there, but that's not a threat. Target our next destination. Yeah, I alternate between preferring the plasma or preferring the rails. Each have their own qualities. And particularly on the Anaconda, I can put 2 rails on the small hard points, 2 rails in the medium hard points, and that's quite fun to shoot.
Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, so we've got 3 jumps.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Right. And this is maybe the White Dwarf. Yep. So we will scan the system, see what's in here. It's definitely easier to hit a large ship with a plasma than a small ship. It is very difficult. One trick is if you go for, there's a couple of engineer upgrades that will increase the shot speed, and those do make it easier to hit, although I find that I still can't hit with plasmas much beyond the kilometre. So I'm definitely not someone who's going to go for an all plasma build because I won't hit enough. Yeah, I think my one's focused. Let's just look at my modules. Info. Focused weapon. So that does a number of things, including increasing the shot speed, which for me makes it easier to hit a target. So let's just see. Okay. 40 light years for the next jump. My jump range, yeah. I need the cone boost. No problem. Does make plasmas more fun. You engineer them properly. With the rail guns, you
Operating beyond safety limits.
think I've got lightweight on the rail guns because that reduces the power draw. Because there's no problem with the shot speed on a rail gun. But reducing the power draw means you can get more shots off, of course, which is good.
Frameshift drive charging.
So I think what I'm going to do today is it's getting on a bit. And I'm still getting used to streaming. Is I'm going to set up and then we'll call it a night there.
3, 2,
And next time I stream, which will hopefully be Saturday afternoon, we'll start taking a look at different signal sources. So another bit of research I want to do is catalogue what's in the different signal sources so people can figure out better what's profitable. I hope to catch you as well, sir.
fuel scooping.
Would be good. Catch your stream a bit as well. Okay, just finished scooping. Okay, so there's no first discovered there, which means that this system was all pre-discovered, so there's not much point me trying to scan it. I won't get any extra. So,
Frameshift drive charging.
last jump. So yeah, still figuring out what my schedule is going to be. At the moment I'm erring towards Thursday evenings, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. So we'll see how Saturday goes and how well that fits in with the rest of my life. There's the station we're after. But a ship has appeared almost straight away. But it's a dolphin, so that's unlikely to be a pirate. Okay, I'll bear that in mind, Commander Face Guy. I'm sure I will be able to catch a number of your streams in that case. Yeah, that's why I've started now, is I basically thought I would actually have the opportunity to try streaming at some different times while I was off. Because once I'm back working next week, obviously I become a bit more limited. So trying it out while the going's good. Yeah, I think streaming for me is always going to be a part-time thing. However, I do hope to do there's a lot of opportunity potentially with the whole content creation thing, so it's definitely something I want to do. I want to do something creative. So I do a lot of technical stuff, and it's nice to have a bit of balance. So we'll see where we get to with all of this. Not sure where that will be yet, but we'll find out. Right. Just for my own practice, gonna try and line up a bit better with the slot. Always useful to learn. That'll do.
To Lacey, Tango Hotel Echo. You're clear for approach, Commander. Submit a request Access granted. Your assigned landing pad is number 02.
Okay. Yeah, if I was smuggling something, I would need to make sure I lined up a lot better with the slot in Super Cruise. I would definitely want to be boosting in, but everything's entirely above board at the moment, so I can take my time getting it. There we go. Pad number 2. Let's see how much money we've made.
Landing gear deployed.
There we go. Right, so
Touchdown sequence complete.
do the maintenance first.
To have you, Commander.
Nice. Oh, interstellar factor. Oh, nothing in there. Cartographics. Right. I'm currently at 1.77 billion, and I would say that deep core mining has made me almost 400 million over the last week. So, and that's not doing it seriously. That was 23.5 million from the Alexandrite,
Incoming message.
and 44 million from the Void Opals. Yeah, it's not bad. So 64, 71 million. That'll do. And that's not even going into a hotspot where the results of the cores you'll get will be skewed towards a certain type. So I'm surprised that actually dropping into a pristine icy ring was that profitable. I would have said it would have been a half or a third, maybe about 30 million, 50 million, and that was actually a bit more. So I can see what people are saying about Delcar 10. So next time, which will be Saturday afternoon, I want to start playing around with some of these signal sources, see how they've changed since the last update. And I also want to go back to Delcar 10, drop into the Void Opal hotspot, spend an hour mining there, and let's see how much money I make in comparison. Right, so with that, I'm going to draw it to a close. And at the moment, as I'm all new to the streaming business, hello DLN Gaming. It's a pleasure to stream for you all. I'm not gonna raid yet. I'm still getting used to everything. This was my second stream. So if you enjoyed it, please click on the follow button. There's a link to my Twitter down below. Getting a Discord server set up and other bits and pieces. So expect to see the things develop over time. But thank you very much for the views, and I will see you all maybe Saturday afternoon or some point after that. Have a good evening.